Hello again. The roots of the current immigration crisis facing Europe are very tricky to untangle sometimes, and it is little surprise that delving about in the murk causes some folk to start subscribing to various conspiracy theories. Sometimes the facts themselves are astounding enough and so open that they can hardly be described as a conspiracy, with that word's implication of secrecy and hidden dealings. Take Peter Sutherland, for example, who was once, as one might not inaptly put it, hiding in plain sight. An enormously influential man, formerly the Irish Republic's Attorney General, chair of the London School of Economics, and a dozen other things besides, he was also one of the architects of the modern view of many people on immigration, that it is inherently a good thing and that we should do all we can to destroy the homogenous nature of European nations, which do, of course, tend to be overwhelmingly white. Sutherland was very heavily involved in shaping Ireland's policies on immigration, which have seen that country transformed in a few brief years to the extent that their fastest runners now were born in Nigeria, as was the Miss Ireland last year. Sutherland may be seen in the thumbnail to this video. In addition to spending 11 years as the United Nations Special Representative on Immigration, Peter Sutherland was also chair of the Goldman Sachs company, as well as being heavily mixed up with the Bilderberg Group. He was on the steering committee. It is easy enough to see how this might cause conspiracy theories to swirl around him. In the description to this video, I give links both to his page on Wikipedia and also a newspaper article about a speech which he gave in London a little over a decade ago, in which he sets out quite clearly and openly his ideas on immigration. And since he was speaking on behalf of the United Nations, we can probably say that his views had a little more effect than those of most of us. Let me quote one or two things which this important man said in 2012. An aging or declining native population in countries like Germany or southern EU states is the key argument, and I hesitate to use the word because people have attacked it, for the development of multicultural states. This seems clear enough. He is explicitly in favour of breaking up the homogenous nature of European countries, including Britain. How about this? Europe faces an immigration predicament. Mainstream politicians held hostage by xenophobic parties adopt anti-immigrant rhetoric to win over a fearful public, while the foreign-born are increasingly marginalised in schools, cities and the workplace. Yet, despite high unemployment across much of the continent, too many employers lack the workers they need. Engineers, doctors and nurses are in short supply. So too are farmhands and health aides. And Europe can never have enough entrepreneurs whose ideas drive economies and create jobs. Yeah, I'm not wholly convinced that the African entrepreneurs that we see in Britain and the Albanian entrepreneurs are altogether beneficial to society, but we'll pass over that. All this ties in, of course, with what I was saying earlier this morning about the way in which Britain is encouraging all those archaeologists, architects, and artists to flock here because we're so short of them. The current situation was being planned for by people like Peter Sutherland well over 10 years ago, and we shouldn't be all that surprised when you see his plans coming to fruition now. Combined with the idiocy of the governments we have had since that year, the year that he spoke in these terms, we are able to see precisely what has been happening. It really is not a conspiracy because the whole thing has been declared openly and publicly for years.